so I'm gonna have to do.
Okay, later.
If I let Rick talk, he would talk forever.
Oh, forever and ever and ever.
That's right.
I got a question for you. Are these all at Barb's books? 'Cause that's what it
No, they
You're
are.
accusing your real lawyer,
That's
you're
what
not
I
even
thought.
one.
Okay. It's a little confusing.
It is, but I didn't make the sheet. No, you put Barb's books were actually not at Barb's anymore, and she was wondering whether these guys were at Barb's.
I put it all over this.
Well, I put that because I was under events saying like Barb's
They're not.
I can change it if you want.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it, but we officially decided last time we were here that we were gonna be changing.
Yeah, I can change it for you.
So I was always from New York all the time, LA, I was like.
It just didn't even occur to
Do
me.
you have a certain file type that you want?
I was in Platinum with Delta, it was crazy.
It cannot come in Word document. It's an Excel.
Going around in my suit going, well, actually, Your Honor.
Yeah, I can do it in a picture.
All right, just so Tony doesn't get mad at us, let's keep going here. I'm gonna.
Will you put my name on there? I forgot. I was talking
All right,
to
Rick.
her.
So we're gonna get started again. We've only got a few people on this open mic list. So I'm gonna just start in the order that we're in right here and just welcome up Ken Durkee. Ken.
So it's National Poetry Month. I've been writing a poem a day. Probably won't continue because I haven't done today yet. And we're going to be gone for more than a week when we're traveling to Wyoming next week. So I'm going to read a couple of them that I've written this past week. And I'm going to start with this one. It's a prose poem. I don't do too many of those, but calmly carnivorous. Wings wide, it glides on thermals, a lone sentinel with a mastery of the air that keeps it aloft for hours. The value of updrafts is not lost on it, as it lifts its larger mass and 6-foot wingspan with minimal effort on its part. A mere shudder of its wings, all that's necessary to counter any cross-current that may cause it to drift from its course in search of prey. But is it truly prey when death has already taken hold? It is the source of its sustenance, and that is all that matters. It may be obscured from the air by an overhanging tree, or it may be in plain sight. But that is irrelevant. It is the scent of death rising on the very thermals that enable such flight that reaches the hunter, now gliding downward with a shift of its wings until it lands within reach of its goal. Joined by brethren, the feast commences as fur flies and flesh is torn. But this meal does not lie in a field that would offer protection from outside encroachment. The remains are in the center of a highway, scattered by passing vehicles. A partial rending already accomplished. This is where the true challenge begins. A turkey vulture dodging metal monsters, determined not only to feed, but to not meet the fate of its dinner. Thank you. And a short bit of nonsense, and it rhymes. I don't do that often, so it's only 3 stanzas. So silly, S-E-W, silly. With both eyes crossed, my eyesight shot, my sanity's lost, it's all for naught. Passing thread through eye of needle, not my purview, sends me fetal. With patience scant, how I would kill to have an aunt with tailor's heels. That's it. So I'm going to read a poem that I wrote like 9 years ago because I've written a poem this week that is linked to it. Missing Maple. I remember a time when I took for granted the delight of all-you-can-eat pancakes after a country drive to a maple shack in late winter, and thinking back to previous autumns with the vibrant colors of those same maples singing to scattered clouds in an azure sky. I remember as well riding my bike on the river walk along the Niagara, beneath a canopy of green, the maples whispering to me as their leaves rustled in the gentle breeze coming off the river. A poem forming in my mind, lamenting the scarcity of oaks, so outnumbered by maples. And now, I walk beneath the dozen oaks that number among the many trees of my new home, their leaves falling even in spring, or drive along the hills and bluffs of Missouri covered with sycamore, hickory, and yes, of course, oak, and wonder, where are the maples? So, this week, I wrote a panel note. What a panel note is you write something that's contrary to a poem, contradicts a poem that you wrote in the past. Stoked. And in the middle of stoked is a parenthetical A. So stoked. Right. With no memory of its past, centuries long gone, when it was but a sapling among a forest of grand trees, it stands alone, surrounded by fields of soy. Regal in its size and beautiful in any light, it drives from my mind any thought of the maples along the Niagara I held so dear. Crowned in Missouri, across the nation, its girth, 20 feet its girth and 10 stories its height, its storied past is punctuated by lightning strikes that have scarred its resilient hide. Were it not for a spring pollen that plagues my senses, this oak might uproot those maples from their place in my heart. And it's a bur oak. It's called the big tree or the great tree. It's in McBain, Missouri, and it's a massive. It's massive.
Where is McBain, Ken?
Yeah.
Where is McBain?
It's just outside of Columbia. It's like west of it. And this is along the Katy Trail. It's just like 100 yards off of the Katy Trail or so. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think you saw that tree. I think you were with me when we went and saw that tree.
Oh, I'm sure. I never remember the names of the towns, though.
Yeah.
I do remember the tree.
Yeah, you went with me.
Yeah, it's pretty massive. It is.
Okay.
It's spread of its branches 130 feet.
See, John knows more about the state of Missouri than any man I've ever met.
Yeah.
But I'm still figuring it out. But yeah, I remember the tree well.
Okay, I'll close with one more from Glass Awash, my book, and Ageless. I hold a voice, sometimes feel it slip between my fingers. Grasp a little tighter, not so tight as to startle it or send it fleeting. Just enough to let it know I remember, understand. Its time is not limited to my past. Its confusion, a sign I have more to learn. Its wonder reminds me to be open to possibilities, that even decay and loss can lead to growth. I hold that voice to my ear. Remember, beginnings never really end.
Caitlin, I want to apologize because I realized that when I sent you that list, originally I had intended for us to be at Barb's at some point, but I didn't make that change. So it's completely my fault.
John, it's okay. I still have the document. I'll just make a quick change. and
Yeah,
send you to
I
it.
apologize for that. I usually catch stuff like that. All right. So with that, I am going to call up Rick Christensen.
Okay.
Come on up, Rick. You can continue to talk now.
Okay, I was just here last week, so now I gotta read different stuff than I read last week. Okay.
It was last month, Rick.
True, that was
Wasn't yet
that
April,
true.
so-
Isn't time an amazing thing? We can measure it so many different ways. I'm going to read 3 short ones tonight from the book. What these 3 have in common is that these are the 3 poems I've got that have resulted in people walking out on me at poetry readings. So this is a safe place, and I don't think anybody's going to walk out, but content warning on this to begin with.
I've got a pair of decent shoes on. I can walk out anytime.
Yeah, anytime you want. Walter left for a minute, but one of the things Walter and I have in common is he was a philosophy major, I was a philosophy major. So we both spend way too much time thinking about, things like the meaning of words. And so this first one I'm going to read, it's called Epistemology, which is the philosophical, basically it is the naming of things. And it is a haibun, Japanese form. Epistemology, haibun. Rape. We didn't think about that word for what happened. It felt more like a punishment, something to be endured. He was only 10. Drawn into an alcove, I was never clear on the enticement. I was 14. I chose not to press. I am now 65. I imagine my current self comforting this little brother. I feel more equipped. God, of course I do. But still insufficient. Good only to bear witness. Finding the dignity in circumstance. How does a child do this? Owl's eyes pierce through snow's veil, but still a forest. Thank you. Okay, and now another haibun. And if you don't know what a haibun is, it's a Japanese form where basically you have a prose, highly descriptive paragraph followed by a haiku that is tangentially related to your descriptive paragraph. And this one is called Into the Can. The small black kitten has been crushed, not yet quite dead. Her dark eyes are slits in her flattened face. Her white teeth are showing through her open mouth. The tip of her pink tongue rests on the teeth, slightly protruding. She is trembling with small convulsions. I hold her in my 10-year-old hands, ask my stepfather, almost pleading, if we can take her to the doctor. No point, he says. She's trash now. Put her in the can outside. I walk up the steps from our basement apartment, cradling the kitten in my upturned palms. I can still feel her trembling. I reach the heavy gray metal trash can. With the kitten in the crook of one arm, I pry off the frozen lid. I place the kitten onto the mound of cardboard and garbage in the can. It is twilight. Her black form lays on its side on the cardboard, like a charcoal cameo. I slowly replace the lid. Some need to grow thorns to touch the pearl drop waters. Part of me falls through. Thank you. Okay.
Were people upset about the dead kitten?
Do what now?
Were people upset about the dead kitten?
Yes, I had walkouts on the dead kitten, I had walkouts on rape,
It's
and
just gonna keep me glued to my seat.
and then, let's see now, where is this one? There it is, page 12. And lots of walkouts on this one. This is a persona poem. A poem essentially written, the poet is the speaker, it's more like a monologue. And this is called Baby Teeth. I just want what is best for him. Lots of reading first. I am a nurse. My hands are steady. I know how to set up a sterile field, clean towels, sterilize the needle nose pliers, use the small pointy pair. His teeth are small, better for gripping. The dentist said he needs selective extraction, so his grown-up teeth will come in straight. Lots of reading first. The dentist is right. He is telling the truth. He isn't just trying to take my money. The boy needs to have it done. It's nobody's fault that we can't afford it. We are self-reliant. Lots of reading first. To pick the right teeth. He's a good boy. He will sit still for it. It's for his own good. I'll go slow. No, I'll go fast. Like ripping off a Band-Aid. No, I'll go slow. I have to be careful. I can put down that old plastic tablecloth so no blood gets on the rug. I will set up a sterile field. He will sit still for it. We are partners, a team. It needs to be done. 4 teeth, I think. Got to make room for his big boy teeth. He is a big boy. He understands that we have to do for ourselves. Lots of reading first to get it right. He will sit still for it. I love him. He knows I love him. Some things just need to happen. It's for his own good. He will thank me when his big boy teeth are strong and straight. He will be glad when he smiles at the girls. He'll thank me then. Only 1 tooth to pull each day. He will sit still for it. 4 days, 4 teeth. He can swish some Listerine. We're a team. I will create a sterile field. I can do this. I need to do this. I'll use the little pliers. He has little teeth. He will sit still for it. Thanks.
Thank you all for inviting me. I have to get home because I have to do this again tomorrow. I'm losing my voice. So,
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy hearing you.
Appreciate you being here.
yeah, well,
Be careful.
Drive careful.
now I know to stay on this road to get back to whatever it was.
One more time, everybody. Thank you, Walter.
Thank you all.
I'm always available.
Thank
What
you.
is it? Rick, had you like pulled the teeth of a kitten, I would have walked out. But children, they have it coming.
That's in the next book.
All right, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it.
The one with the Easter Bunny holding the kids. My new cover.
I still think, yeah, I think that should be a book cover. All right, so thank you, Rick. So next up, I'm gonna have Caitlin come up because she only wants to make an announcement. So let her go ahead and do that.
So my announcement's about our bookstore Ramp Rail. We're hosting a barbecue on May 11th. I hope everybody will come out and support it. We're teaming up with a shop hop that's happening downtown for Mother's Day, and they're gonna help us promote it as well as what they've got going on. And I actually just got off the phone. We have an award-winning grill master who will be doing the grilling for us, so I'm very excited about that. And hopefully everybody can make it. The approximate value we're looking to raise is about $1,200 for the railing. So fingers crossed that the barbecue gets us a good part of the way there. That's all I have to say. Unless anybody has questions. We're thinking
I
pork
was
steaks and bratwursters is what we're thinking. So
just gonna say, can we call it the barbecue?
I actually like that. That's very good.
Thanks, David.
I don't really care if the store burns to the ground, but the meat, the barbecue.
We're not gonna burn the store to the ground.
I'm
We're
there
gonna do
for
it across the street,
Like,
away from the store.
If it happened in a barbecue accident,
We would just have a really epic story. That's what we have.
all right. Okay, so with that, Jason, did you want to read? You don't have to. I'm not throwing you under the bus.
Okay, sure.
You can.
Okay.
Sometimes you give me a hard time, like I'm forcing you to do it, but you know. All right, Jason Reedberg.
Chopped liver here?
No, you just weren't on my list.
It's because you put me in anywhere.
Well, that's
anyway.
true. That's true.
So I just was waiting dutifully. This is called Abandoned Hotel. The mouse, like a child's heart in its cage of ribs, has a nest somewhere at the heart of an old concert piano with lots of stories to tell. In the lobby of an old abandoned hotel where a man sits in an overstuffed chair, ripping pages from a phone book, hoping that will help him find what he has spent so many years of his life looking for. Meanwhile, many miles away from the hotel, a woman wanders through a dark, dense forest of whispering trees and strange gray birds, wearing her mother's mourning dress, humming a sad old folk tune of lost innocence. Never much to tell. Midnight is just now striking after waiting hours for the perfect opportunity. And they say the night has a million shining cat's eyes, but never much to tell. Nothing that would stand up in a court of law, that is. Nothing that would hold up under questioning. Mostly just a bunch of old spook stories, hearsay, and unreliable eyewitness accounts. The illusion of movement. Walking late at night, I came to a cemetery with the statue of a horse for a headstone. An apparition that had been caught and frozen in some moment of regal innocence and beauty under the light of a moon that had just then come out from behind a bank of clouds, bestowing the illusion of movement with its majestic beams of silver blue upon what must have once been the lord of all horses. Somewhere, a peacock shrieked. Some kind of metaphor for something. Kind of like that toy from back when we were kids that was nothing really but a coil of cheap metal spring that could stroll around seemingly under its own power, down a flight of stairs or a ladder or from hand to hand of someone easily bemused by distractions like this. A toddler maybe, but just as likely a teenage girl stoned out of her gourd down in her parents' basement. The toy is some kind of metaphor for something, I guess. Too many poems about. So far, I'm not just convinced that there is such a thing as too many poems about stars, meteors, satellites, the moon, spy planes, and or UFOs crossing night skies above a world that's teeming with streetlights. Headlights, porch lights, Christmas lights left up year-round, fireflies, cigarettes, sparks, and embers from backyard barbecues, any or all of it, rendered earnestly again and again for us to ooh and ah at. Thank you.
I apologize.
That's okay.
You're sensitive. So, but you need more dead kitten poems.
Oh, well, that's
No, nobody needs more dead kitten
If
balls.
you truly want to like get the people out the door, you know.
There was the kitten that our dogs ripped apart.
Yeah, that really did.
When I
That
first got out
was
here.
to watch that.
And I rescued it, its last dying breath had bit me. So,
That would actually make a good poem.
you know, I thought about it, but no, it
True story. I think I wrote a poem about it, but you didn't do it.
was traumatizing.
All right. So,
Never letting any of you around my cats,
I'm
ever.
If it's any matter, those dogs are now dead. But I did kick the shit out of them, and they looked really like, I'm
Just-
programmed to do this. What am I supposed to do?
Caitlin, the worst thing I would do is feed your cat's muscle relaxants. Like, all right. So with that, I'm just gonna close this out with John Clayton. John.
Thank you, stagehand.
To get all the body parts that you're missing put together so that you can do this. I have 3 eclectic pieces tonight. Come on. There. Fun. I have trouble driving this phone sometimes. And I hate Apple. They just, for no reason, they just change stuff on my phone that I have to figure out how to get rid of. But anyway, here's 3 eclectic pieces for you. The first piece is called collectors. Some collect what they need. Some collect only for greed. Some collect what they want. Those greedy collectors have souls that are gaunt. Bees collect pollen so they can make honey. Only humans collect just to make money. There are a few animals that act like a man. Pack rats and crows collect what they don't understand. I collect soldering irons. They're useful for making repairs, to mend that hole in the old wash pan. Grandpa on the porch washing off the barn. Memories are in the atoms. They remember even after you're dead. I collect memories, both good and bad. I collect scythes. Touching the handles gives me a pain in the back. My mind's eye sees Sarah putting grain in the sack. I collect wooden pulleys used in barns. They're everywhere at old farms. I collect old pocket knives. They occupy a very personal place. A farmer can live without wives, but not his two-bladed case. Collecting doesn't have to be for greed. Some collect things we really will need. I know a woman who spends her time collecting wildflower seeds. She puts them in the bank for use when we have the need. It's that which is collected that fills up the bins, that feeds one and all when blows the cold winds. Sometimes it's not food that is needed, but a poem instead. For what good is a body if the soul is dead? Thank you. This piece is called Navigating by the Shoreline. I'm sure a lot of you have heard this before, but it's just kind of what I wanted to do tonight. Navigating to the shoreline. There was a time long ago, before I learned to swim, that I really needed to touch the bottom. Then came strength, endurance, curiosity, and arrogance. I was not afraid to sail off into the fog in search of things that I believed were there, but have no proof that they even existed. I did not need to see the shoreline to know that sooner or later I would reach my intended destination. Life changes us. As I've experienced life, it has become more important that the knowns weigh more than the unknowns. I am no longer so eager to sail off into the fog, trusting that I will survive, to hear the bow of my boat scrape on some distant shore. I still like adventure, but prefer to navigate by the shoreline. Thank you. This piece is called Good Luck, Bad Luck. Chopper noises all around, stretchers sitting on the ground, blood seeping into the dirt, but Jimbo Crenshaw does not hurt. It's been a real hard day. Pain and death is what we pay. Going back to base camp now with only sadness on our brow. Sitting on empty ammo cases, not thinking about safer places. Don't bogart that joint, my friend. Pass it over here again. Hot, wet, dirty, and tired. We lost a little soul each time we fired. Hollow eyes, exhausted faces, dink ears on bootlaces. Not for ideas, not for home. Hoping to avoid a cold tombstone. Not for God or apple pie. Just trying not to die. 102 days of luck to go. 314 days of luck to go. 4 days of luck to go. He ran out of luck, old Jimbo. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I just want to close this by thanking Mark and Tony for letting us be here. I love this space. I think today, like I said, I think it was just too sunny out. People are outside. Well, not sunny out right now, but all right. Like I said earlier, the next time we will be here is May 5th, which is a Sunday at 4 p.m. instead of 6 p.m. because it is Sunday, which gives people time to go to church and also time to go to bed. So thank you guys so much for being here. Our features next month will be T. James Chapman and Edie Roberts, and I will see you all again soon. Thank you so much.